Good evening, everyone. My name is Omobabiri Adeola Oshideko, and I want to welcome you to today's show, Crystal Clear with Omobabiri. Please, if you're online, join me and let's do this together again. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, good evening. Let me see if I can invite a few people that are online. Let's do this together. Good evening. Today we'll be talking about the blame game. If you're online, join me. Let's do this together. Tonight we will be talking about the blame game. Good evening, Uju. I think I got it. Good evening, Uju. You're welcome. Oh, you're in the Benjamin. Thank you for joining me. My name is Omobabiri Adeola Oshideko. And I usually anchor this program every Monday. Good evening, madam. How are you? Immediately I saw your picture. I have not even checked your name. I said, this is Uju. I now know my people's name by heart now. I don't need to start looking at names. Good evening, Eniola. You're welcome. Thank you for joining me. Good evening, Olubunmi Oluwaremilekun. Thank you for joining me. My name is Omobabiri Adeola Oshideko. Let me introduce myself. I am a writer. I am a published author. I am a public speaker. Specifically, I am a personal development speaker. Good evening, Mrs. Oduton Amina. Thank you for joining me. I am a personal development speaker. I am a relationship management coach. And I am also a training consultant. And every Monday, I used to hold this show where we talk about issues. We talk about a lot of things. Most times, things that are related to our personal development and things that has to do with our growth, whether personally or professionally. And this evening, we will be talking about the blame game. The blame game. What is the blame game? Let me start by saying the blame game is when something bad happens and you are just trying to look for someone to, just to push the blame to. When something bad happens to us or something bad happens to other people and we are just trying to just push the blame out. You don't want to take responsibility of that thing that has happened. You're just ready to push it out. So let me start by reading what I have here. Good evening, Tolu Bella. Thank you for joining me. Shonduro Dola, thank you for joining me. We are treating the blame game today. When bad things happen to us, what is the first thought? What is the first thing that crosses our mind? Good evening, Arole. Thank you for joining. Can't hear anything, okay? Okay, other people, if you're online and if you can hear me, please say hi. Say hello, say hi. Let me know. Eniola says she cannot hear me. Eniola cannot hear me. Please, if you can hear me, apart from Eniola, say hi. Mrs. Femi Adeniyi, you're welcome. Okay, you can hear me now. Okay, fine. So I said we will be talking about the blame game, and I will start by trying to explain to us what I mean by the blame game. I'm very sure that most of the time, some of us would have come across the word, maybe literally the way I said it or in another form. But I will be explaining to us this evening what I mean by the blame game. And I said, when bad things happen to us, what is the first thing that comes to our mind? Are you trying to look for someone to push the blame to and say, no, it wasn't me? If not that Kudirat did this and this would not have happened. If not that my child did not do this wouldn't have happened. You're welcome, my mom. My mom is online. Good evening, Mrs. My mommy. Thank you for joining me. Is it that you try to find someone to just push the thing to? Akinwande Olayinka, you're welcome. Thank you for joining me once again. So do you immediately figure out what was at fault, or you are trying to find someone to push the blame to? We are discussing the blame game for people that are just joining us. My name is Omobabiri Adeola Oshideko. And today we'll be discussing about the blame game. So let me just continue. Or do you accept responsibility for what has happened and say, oh, Adeola, it is all your fault that this happened? You will not kill yourself, but move on. Let me just continue. Or do we accept responsibility for such common mishap that were under our control? Do you accept responsibility when things happen? Good evening, Mr. Ben Okpe Johnson. Good evening, Olatunji Michael. Thank you for joining me. Now, what are the common things or what are the common situations where people blame others? What are the common things or persons that people blame? Number one is other people. We blame other people for all the problems we have in life. If my husband has done this and this thing wouldn't have happened. If my parents have sent me to school, I wouldn't have ended up hawking akamu. If my parents had paid for my ACCA classes then, I wouldn't have ended up being a prostitute. It was because my father died when I was 3 years old. That was why I am here today. It is because God is not just fair. We just blame other people. Good evening, Madam Morenike. Thank you so much for joining me, ma. And that is my boss. That's my boss for life. And I'm actually going to be talking about her today. Don't worry, I'll be talking about Morenike. Just note her face. Note her face very well. Morenike Ogunawa is my former boss. And she still remains my boss any day, anytime. So let's just continue. I said, most of the time we want to blame other people for our misfortune, to the bad things that happen to us. We blame our parents, we blame our spouses. In fact, we even blame God at times. Some people blame God. They will say, God, why me? Why did you allow this to happen to me? And the most of it, the worst of it that we see all over the places is the village people. We blame the village people. If you are with me on that village people thing, do your hand like this. Say hi. Say hi. Let me know where you're watching me from, please. I am watching from London. I'm watching from Ibadan. I'm watching from Lagos. I'm watching from Anambra. Let me take some water. Somebody advised me last week that I should always take some water when I'm talking. Even though I'm not used to it, but it's good to yield to advice. I think it's good to take some water when I'm talking so that I will not feel drained. I said, if you are with me on this village people matter, let me see your hands up like this. A lot of people blame village people. When I say village people, we all know what I'm talking about now. We all know this thing. Village people, witches and wizards, we blame them. We blame them. If not that my stepmother is a witch, I should be married by now. I should be married by now. If not that my great-grandparents are this, I should not be here. If not that I have family problem, I should not be here. So let me just continue. The topic we are examining today is the blame game. Why is it that we push blame to other people when things happen to us? Why is it that most of the time we fail to take responsibilities for our actions or for the things that happens to us? Now, I said most of the time we blame two people or two things or two categories of people. We blame other people. Oh, thank you. Thank you for joining me from US. Thank you. Is it Mr. or Mrs. Busayo Bamike? I don't know. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for joining me, Stella. Most of the time we blame two categories of people. Is it that you blame other people or you blame yourself? Now, I said the category of other people is like at times we blame our parents. At times we blame our spouses, maybe your husband or your wife. At times we blame God. At times we blame fate. Mr. Okpa said if I finish breaking the table that he knows the carpenter number is not going through. Don't worry, we'll go and buy another furniture. I'm very sorry. I'm going to be breaking some table tonight. And if you're on the table, it is better you come down. Or when the table is broken, go and buy another one. Or go and give it to the carpenter to fix for you. But sincerely, I will be blunt tonight. I will be blunt. So whichever category you fall into, just try and amend. That is why we are having this program. We are not here to criticize anybody or to pull anybody down. We are just here to correct ourselves, including me. And I said we blame ourselves at times. You just say, Adiola, why did you do this? You shouldn't do this. Other people, we blame our colleagues at work. If Victoria had given me that file, I should have finished that report by now. If this had happened, I shouldn't have ended up like this. We just keep blaming other people. instead of taking responsibility. Now, let me mention this, that most of the time, other people are actually at fault. It is not like we are actually accusing them. Most of the time, they are actually at fault. But the thing is that when you keep blaming them, is that going to change anything? Now, let me talk about, I have told you that I'm going to be talking about my former boss. I know she might not know that I know this that I want to say, but those are some of the things that I noticed about her when I was working with her. She might just be doing it unconsciously, but it's one of the things that I picked out of Morenike's, and it has been a virtue that has been reoccurring even in my brain. And this is the virtue. Okay, thank you. Someone from my former place of employment is even online. Thank you. And I am just going to say this as it is. I worked with Morenike's as she is my manager, or she was my manager then. She was my manager then. I worked under her, and most of the time she would need to delegate some things to us, we the subordinates, to go and do. Because as a manager, you cannot do everything. At least you have to give some part of your work to people to do. And even if you are not giving them anything, how do they want to grow? How are you helping them? So if you are doing everything, that is another thing. You are not a good manager. You are not a good boss. So when when Morenike's gives me something to do, I'll give it back to her. She's the one that will present it to the management as if she's the one that have done that job. I am just saying this with all sincerity of mind. I have actually planned that I'm going to talk about this. I did not even know she's going to come online. So it's not as if it's because I see her online, that's why I'm saying all this. Now, whenever Morenike's gives you work to do, she will review before she will go and present to the management. Most times she might review and there might be like an oversight. Maybe she did not notice that something is wrong with the report you gave her. But she is the one that is going to give it to the management or present to the management. Most of the time, it's not even most of the time. I worked with Morenike for like one year, 4 months. I worked with Morenike for 1 year, 4 months. And during that 1 year, 4 months, I have never seen any time that a report that I give to her will be faulty. And she will now call me out and say, oh yeah, go and call Diola. She's the one that prepared this report. MD, this is the Diola that prepared this report. I am saying this with all sincerity. If you give Morenike any work that is faulty to go and present to the management, she's going to present it to the management as if she's the one that did the work. She's not going to call you out and say, don't worry, MD. The report is not okay, Abi. Don't worry, I know the person that prepared. Let me go and call her. She will never. The worst that Morenike will do is come back and say, Diola, this report that you prepared is having some issues. I felt embarrassed when I was preparing it to the MD. But you just have to cover up and continue. The MD has never, and most of the time, what I do for her is things that she will use during board meetings. So whether it is correct or not, she takes all the blame. If the report is okay, she takes all the praise. If the report is bad, she takes all the blame. And this is what I'm trying to say. As a boss, as a leader, are you someone that always call out your subordinate and say, Oga, don't worry, it is not Mason that did that report, let me go and call him. Oyato Mason, come and defend the report, that nonsense report that you did, that your report that is full of mistakes and error, Oya, come and defend it in front of MD. The blame game. It was from Morenike that I learned that when you're sending a mail out, I know some of the things, when I'm pressing her, it looks like maybe I'm overhyping her or something. But there are things that I actually learned from this woman when I was working with her that I cannot just forget them quickly. She's the one that told me that when you're sending a mail, you will not send a mail like, please send me so document. She will tell you that you should send it as, please, can you send to us? There's nothing like me. Can you send to us? So she believes that we are working as a team. So whatever you are sending out, you're sending it as a team. Whatever you are receiving it as a team. So there is no reason for you to now bring somebody out of the team and start lashing that person because he or she has presented a wrong report. I am sorry for people that are not office people here. I might be talking jargons, but that is just the reality. The simplest form I can explain is that when things happen, don't be quick to blame other people. At times, you just have to cover up and move. Yes, thank you, Kayode. I know you're a witness. You just have to cover up. But then again, we never. Throughout my 1 year, 4 years, the MD has never come to me and said, Diola, come here. They said that report, you were the one that prepared it. It wasn't as if all my reports were 100% perfect. I know that there are days that Morenike will go in front of the board to present a report that I've done, and there will be mistake, and she will find a way to cover up. Some boss or some bosses, they will say, don't worry, this report I know the person that prepared it, just wait, let me go and call her for you. Oh, yeah, Diola, come here. See what you prepared. The blame game. So, it is not, at times, some people are faulty. Other people, they are faulty. We are not saying they are not faulty. But passing the blame on them, making them to feel bad, is that the solution? No. Instead, you are destroying their self-esteem. You are demotivating them. Monica will come back and say, Adiola, you nearly put me into trouble today. But don't worry. I have been able to cover up in front of the board. This thing and this thing and this thing that you did is not correct. Please go and do it again. That is what we call a leader. So you don't need to call out your subordinate and say, you are the one that prepared this report. Let me just move on. That is just the little explanation I want to give about the blame game that we all play in our various places of work, even in family. Now, the second example I want to give is the example of D'banj. We are all familiar with D'banj. They call him Coco Master. Some few months back, I'm not even sure that it's up to 1 year, D'banj lost a son. The son somehow drowned in the pool, and the boy died. I think the name of the boy is Daniel. Daniel died. D'banj was not at home. The boy and the mother, I don't know, maybe they have other people around them or not. But from what we gather, the boy is with his mother in the house, and somehow, they did not know how the boy just go to the pool, and it drew inside the pool, and the boy died. Now, I have seen people, yes, not just office people. Yes, thank you, Tomiwa, you're welcome. Thank you for joining me. I have seen people that will not forgive their wife for that single. Where are you? I mean, what are you doing in this house? How could you? Where were you when this boy was going inside the pool? Where did you stay? Where were you standing? Are you sitting or standing? Are you wearing up? Where were you when this boy got into the pool and got himself drawn? Now, recently I read, I think on Valentine's Day, D'banj presented gave his wife a surprise visit, maybe in America or something. I'm not really sure about the precise details. But it shows us that he has actually moved beyond the blame game. He's no longer blaming his wife for the misfortune that befell them sometimes ago. So, most of the time, we just have to, it has happened. There's nothing you can do. Now, blaming other people will not bring the situation back to normal. Hey, Senior Mosun is here. Oh yeah, hail, let me hail Senior Mosun. Blaming other people. Blaming yourself. I have said it that there are two categories of people that we blame when things happen. Is either you blame other people or you blame yourself. The two are actually not good, and I will explain. I will explain why those two. It is not just for you not to blame other people. You should not also blame yourself too much. You can take responsibility. Taking responsibility is different from blaming yourself. Taking responsibility is that, Adiola, I know that you have actually messed up. I know that you have actually messed up, and this is all your fault. Now, what is the next thing? The next thing is pick yourself up, dust yourself, and move on. That is what we are saying when we are saying take responsibility. We are not saying you start blaming yourself and say, Adiola, if not that, I have shared my experience on this program before. How I got pregnant and the rest of the story. I will still be in that pity party till now. I would have still been in that pity party till now if I had kept blaming myself and say, Adiola, how could you? But what did I do? I blamed myself, actually. I felt so bad. I cannot believe that I've done that to myself. But at the end of the day, after I have been exposed to a lot of trainings here and there, what did I do? I moved on. So blaming yourself is not going to help you. It is not going to help the situation either. What will only help you is for you to move on. Dust yourself and move on. Now, why do people play the blame game? Why do people blame? Whether you're blaming yourself or you're blaming other people. Most times other people. Blame is an excellent defense mechanism. You want to defend yourself. Morenike could have defended herself and said, MD, don't worry. I am not the one that prepared the report. Oh, hey, you know now. I am not the one that prepared this. Just wait, just hold on. Diola, please come. You're trying to defend yourself. Now, what good will come out? They will abuse Diola. They will say, Diola, you are very stupid. But you said you are this, you are that. How will you prepare this kind of report? Nonsense. Stupid. They will blame Diola. They will abuse Diola. But does that add any feathers to you? No, it doesn't. It doesn't. Morenike will say, oh, my team. Most of the time, that's the word she used to use. She would say, my team prepared this report. My team. She will never call out any, even apart from me, she has never called anybody out and say, you are the one that will come out. Raise up your hand. MD, this is the person. No. And that is an example of a good leader. And that is why I have worked in another place before where I am working presently, after I left Morenike. But the things that I learned from her when I was with her, they are like, when the Bible says they are new every morning, I will never forget any one of them. And this is one of them that I'm mentioning now. The blame game. Don't blame people, especially your team members when things go wrong. Accept the blame as a leader. Tell them, it is my people that prepared this. I am taking the blame. Not that you will be calling somebody out. No, you come and defend your report. So that is what people do. When they want to defend themselves, they blame people. Another way is when they want to try and hurt another person. For instance, maybe I have offended Morenike before. I'm sorry, my boss. I'm sorry, ma, that I'm using you as an example. That is the best example that I can think of today. Maybe I've offended Morenike before. And lo and behold, good for me, I just gave her 140 reports like that. Bam. Oh yeah, Oga, take, just go and present it to the MD. That is your own problem. I just gave her the reports. Bam. And the Morenike gets in front of the MD. And she was trying to, and the MD said, no, madam, just wait. How can 2 + 2 give you 5? And Morenike is like, it's true. And she quickly remember, oh, it was Diola that prepared this report. Thank God she has even offended me. This is a way to get back at her. This is a way to hurt her because she has offended me. I'm not even talking about, hey, Debola, Debola, my friend. Mrs. Okoli, you're welcome. And maybe I've offended. Let's not even talk about Morenike. Let's talk about some other people that we are colleagues. Let me just mention one of my colleagues' name then, Sadiq. Sadiq used to be my very, very, very paddy. Maybe he just offended me one day. And I've been looking for a way to revenge. And one day, something just happened. They said, who prepared this thing? I would just say, yes, thank God. Excuse me, sir. Let me just go and call Sadiq. He is the one. In fact, that time I was even telling him, Sadiq, how will you prepare the report like this? He said, what is it? I can prepare it anytime. I will even have salt and sugar. So that the MD can lash his head very well. So people do it at times so that they can hurt other people, which is not good. And the last reason why people blame, where people play the blame game, is they want to feel good. Morenike wants to feel competent. Morenike will be like, MD, you know now. MD, you know that I've been a manager in this company for the past 20 years. MD, you know that I cannot prepare this kind of report. I am good, I am sound. When it comes to figure, I know my game. You're welcome, Debola. And Morenike's like, MD, you know. Morenike's trying to prove that she's better than other people. So when you are trying to prove that you are better, then you play the blame game. You say, boss, you know me. You know that I'm a very, very, very sound manager. I cannot prepare this kind of report. You should know. Just hold on. Let me go and call Diola. Diola, please come. Come on. You know the way it happens now. So if you are enjoying this, just give me a hi in the comment section. Give me a hi. Give me hello. You're welcome. For people that are just joining us, today we're talking about the blame game. Why is it wrong for us to blame other people or blame ourselves when things happen? Please give me a yes in the comment section. Give me hi, hello. Tell me where you're watching from so that we can continue. 1 minute, let me take water. Oh, yeah, but they advised me last week that I should always take water. And I think it's working. It's working wonder. I feel refreshed. So let's continue. I've not been seeing any hi or hello in the comment section. Give me hi, give me hello so that I will know you're with me. So I have talked about what does it mean to blame other people. I have talked about the categories of people that we blame when it comes to the blame game. I've talked about we blame other people and we blame ourselves at times. And I have talked about why do people play the blame game. And now I want to talk about the consequence of the blame game. What happens when you blame other people? Number one thing is that it makes you stagnant. You are just on the same spot. You are there blaming everybody. You are just there. This one happened. It's not me. It's this one. That one happened. No. Hey, my friend is working. He's watching from South Africa. Damlala, you're welcome. Thank you for joining me. This is the first time you'll be joining me. Oh, Marianka says she's with me. Thank you, boss. Debola is watching from Ibadan. Thank you. I said one of the consequences of playing the blame game is that it makes you stagnant. You are not ready to learn. You are not learning. Now, let's assume, sorry, Morenike-san, I'm coming back to you again. Let's assume Morenike called me and said, she did not even understand the error that the MD is talking about. Once she just heard that there is no error, just wait. Diola, oh yeah, come. Come and finish. Come and finish what you started. I will collect the blame. I will feel bad. I will pick up the work and I will go and do it again. But the thing is, Morenike might not even have the idea of what I'm doing. While I am learning, she is there blaming. So when you're blaming other people for things, you don't learn. When something bad happens to you, learn not to blame other people. And now I am going to use my mom as an example. Yes, my mom is online. I'm going to use my mom as an example and as a very, very good and interesting example. I lost my dad when I was 3.5 years. It was so sad. And I am the first child and I have 2 brothers when we lost our dad. It was very, very tough. When I say it was tough, it was most of the time when we recollect our memories, when we recollect our growing up, people that I know Damilola, my friend from South Africa, can testify to this. No. We really suffered. But do you know, my mom will never blame anybody. Most of the time, our families, my dad's family, they were not there to take care of us. There is no work on heart that my mom did not do. She was a teacher. She had a pharmacy shop. If I tell you some ridiculous job that my mom did just to make sure that we went to school, you will cry. She did some ridiculous jobs. For once, my mom will never say, if your dad's brother had been paying your school fees now, this problem wouldn't have been more like this. She never blamed anybody. Pick up your problem and just move on. Stop blaming people. If my mom would have said, God, if my husband had not died now, these children, they should have been doctors and professors by now. Who sent you a message? Some people will be blaming God. They will be blaming faith. They will be blaming a lot of things. You don't need to blame anybody. In fact, you cannot even blame God because he does whatever he likes. So the one that he has done for you, just accept it and move on. The only thing you can do is tell God to give you the grace to move on with your cross. Each person with his or her cross, just carry your own, and move. Stop blaming people. Those people that neglected us then, where are they? They are doing Atachi by force. You know the meaning of Atachi by force? They want to be associated with us by fire, by force now. I am not a millionaire, don't get me wrong. But I am not begging to hit. My family, my husband, my children, my brothers, they are all well positioned today. Because of what? My mom did not blame anybody. She will even say, and when your papa, you know the meaning in English. The family of your dad, if you see them, be nice to them. Be nice to them, be kind to them. It is not their fault. They also have their own problem and responsibilities. They also have their own problem. So don't blame anybody. And it is because your uncle did not send you to school. That is why you became a prostitute. And so, are you the only fatherless child in the whole universe? What are you saying? If I tell you the way I went to school, I used to wear okirika. Thank goodness. I used to wear okirika. And let me just see me, I am raw and blunt. Let me just tell you, this particular top I am wearing, this top that you can see, this top is more than 12 years. And this is one of your okirikas that I bought when I was in the university. Yes. Go and say it. That Adiola said she has worn okirika before. Let me repeat myself if you don't hear me very well. I said this top that I'm putting on, this particular top that I'm putting on, is part of those okirika that I bought when I was in the university. Do you know why I still have this top? Because I just like this top. You know when you say you are just, I don't know the English. When you remember say, Monyolo. I just like the top. I like the top. And that's why I'm still having it today. And I can say this is my whole desk clothes so far. My whole desk, I don't even know. One day I was just checking my things. I just saw the clothes. This clothes, you are still here? Hey! I just wore the clothes and the thing still looks good on me and I wear my thing. Now, the moral of the story is, when I was in school, things were very difficult for us. Extremely difficult. Because we did not have a father. It was, at times we don't go to school because we don't have money for transport. If I tell you my childhood story, I know we all have our stories, but we all have our peculiarity. We rotate going to school. At times we wake up as early as 5, we'll start trekking. Tomiwa is here. Tomiwa is my secondary school mate when I was in Ibadan. Tomiwa knows how far is Amuloko from Oritakweri. We used to trek from Amuloko to Oritakweri, where I am schooling. Some day, maybe twice in a week, there will not be transport money for us to go to school. How I even passed my SSC, my mom was even surprised. The day I went to collect my SSC result, I fainted. I could not believe what I saw. Because we don't go to school. We don't go to school often. It was that bad. But when I was in the university, people make jest of me. A lot of my colleagues, a lot of my mates, they are not colleagues, they are a lot of my classmates. They know that I wear okirika. In fact, they know, you don't even need to. They will even be making jest of me. They're like, this your skirt is fine. Hey. You know that kind of thing. I went to a private university. I insisted I wanted to go to university. I told my mom when I finished from the Polytechnic, I said I'm not going to Polytechnic for HND. Whatever it is that you will do, please do it for me. I want to go to the university. And I ended up going to a private university that my mom had to pay from her nursery. It was very difficult. She would take cooperative, and by the time they remove everything from her salary, nothing will be left. So there is nothing that you can do than to go and buy okirika and be wearing it to school. So it was that bad. But did you know what? Those people then that were abusing me that I am wearing okirika, I have said it now, I am not a billionaire, I am not a millionaire yet. And very soon I am going to be by the grace of God. But some of them I'm actually better than them. I graduated with a first class and immediately I graduated like this. Bam. I graduated in July 2018. I started working August 2008. Immediately I graduated like this. Bam. I started working. I did not even use 1 week at home. And ever since that time, I have never stayed at home for 1 month without working. It's just from one good job to another. From one good job to another. It is very easy for me to keep blaming everybody that time. I would just sit there at home and be crying. If my dad did not die now, I would have gone to the university. It's because my dad died. Let me just continue. I said it makes you stagnant. It makes you bitter. You just, especially when you're blaming yourself, it causes bitterness. You just be unnecessarily angry with yourself. And before you know it, you will be spilling out bitterness all over, all around. All around. You will be spilling out bitterness. I am not a very trained person. Morenike Stan knows a lot about me when I was working with her. There was an incident that happened during my time of working with her. It was a very bad experience that I had. And that thing happened out of bitterness. When I'm shouting Morenike today, I might not be able to explain everything that has happened between me and Morenike, but Morenike is one of those people that landed me where I am today. Because it is when I was bittered then that I was able to reposition myself and say, what exactly is your problem, Adiola? What exactly is your problem? I had to go for training online. That was when I came about emotional intelligence training. And that is the foundation of where I found myself today. As a public speaker, as a trainer, as blah, 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 and the rest of it. So, when you keep blaming yourself and you're not ready to look for solution and move forward, you will just be bitter. And before you know it, bitterness will cause you a lot of problems. I am not going to talk about bitterness today. Next week, I'm going to be talking about bitterness. Excuse me. I'll be talking about bitterness next week. I'm going to tell you what it means to be bitter. What bitterness can cause you if you're not careful. And thank you, Manuel. Thank you. And another thing is when you keep blaming other people or you keep blaming yourself in particular now, what happens? It leads to self-hurt. You will hurt yourself. You will hurt, yes. My boss said she said, I know well. Yes, I know she will remember the exact experience I was talking about. You will hurt yourself, self-hurt. And what happens when you hurt yourself? It will lead to self-unforgiveness. If there's anything like that, self-unforgiveness. You will not be able to forgive yourself. You will be like, why did you do that to yourself, Adiola? Why? And you will not be able to forgive yourself. And when you don't forgive yourself, what happens? Depression will set in. You'll be depressed. And when depression sets in, what is the next thing after depression? We all know it. It's suicide. You will become suicidal. And the next thing is you will be planning how you want to take your life, how you want to die, how you want to commit suicide. So, stop blaming yourself. Stop blaming other people. Now, how do you stop the self-blame? How do you stop the self-blame? Now, before I go into that, let me just say, you need to know this, that just because an event followed another event doesn't mean that the first event is the one that caused the second event. I don't know, maybe you understand what I'm saying. I'm saying because something happened now, it doesn't mean that that is the thing that caused the second thing to happen. Let me explain. I told you about D'banj, how he lost a child due to the carelessness of the wife or due to whatever, he lost a child. And instead of him to sit down there and keep blaming the wife, you're a bad wife. What were you doing when this girl boy went into the pool? This, that. I know he would have done that, at least for some time, but what did he do? He moved on. I heard about a story of a woman. The woman actually came to an online group, all this group that they do online, or that they will be advising themselves. The woman now, she was really pained. She was really bitter, and she was just trying to pour out her mind so that she would be relieved. And what happened to this woman? She's a working class woman. She's a career woman. She goes to the office. And so she has this new baby, like 6-month-old baby. She has a older daughter and a 6-month-old baby. Before then, the husband has been telling her, stop working. I don't want you to work again. I want you to be full. You know this husband, and that they will not want their wife to be working. The woman insisted that she cannot do without working. She has to work. That she cannot cope without working. What will she be doing at home? All through. The man just said, you stop your work. Take care of my children. That is why I marry you. So that you can be giving back to children and taking care of the children. You know now. The wife insisted. And one day, while the woman, very early in the morning, you know women, and you will be rushing. You will pack back. In fact, one of the mark on my leg, I was telling someone last week, is from all these mother runs. Very early in the morning, I was rushing to work. I was backing my baby, carry bag here, carry this one here. I just fell down. Bah! Me and the baby on the floor. My leg got bruised and I was injured badly. But the baby, I was able to defend the baby. Nothing happened to the baby, but I was badly injured. That is part of motherhood. What can we do? So as the woman is rushing, she's just trying to say, okay, let me go and carry flask. She did not know that the boy has slipped out of her sight to the front of the house. Meanwhile, a neighbor that was going to his work too in the morning was reversing his car. He did not know that the little boy was behind him. And the man crushed the boy to death. So sad. And that was how the boy died. And do you know what happened? The husband will not give this woman rest. The husband started frustrating the life of this woman. You are a bad wife. I have told you to leave this your job. This is your nonsense, stupid job. This is your 50,000 naira job that you are doing. I have warned you. See the way you killed my son. And did you know that the boy is a son and the other child they have is a girl? And the man was saying, how am I sure that I will be able to give birth to another boy now? What if you get pregnant and this girl you give birth to again? And the man kept blaming this woman. And this woman was frustrated. Because eventually she had to leave the job, stay at home, and she was depressed. She would just be crying and crying and crying. So she had to share her experience with people so that they at least she will be relieved a bit. Now, is that the solution? This boy has died, and there is nothing anybody can do about it, whether it's the fault of the wife or not. Remember, I told you when I wanted to start this program, most of the time, what happened is actually the fault of other people. But nailing them to the cross, bringing them out, disrespecting them, blaming them, crucifying them, will not reverse what has happened. It won't. So why? Why are you blaming other people? It has happened, it has happened. Even the woman will not be happy that the boy died. So why are you frustrating the woman? Why are you frustrating her life? Do you know she can actually commit suicide one day and die because of that particular thing? So let us just know that it is not one thing. At times, some things are just coincidence. And some things are just out of our control. There are not things we have control over. There is nothing we can do about it. My father died. Was it my mother that killed my father? No. Was it the brother or this? No, we don't know. So why should we keep blaming everybody? He has died, he has died. Whether you blame the brother or you blame the sisters, it will not raise Reverend Felix Adedoyin Adeshikpe. It will not raise him from the dead. So why are you disturbing yourself? Why? I want let's come out today. Mrs. Baba today. Mrs. Adeniji Iyabode Windapo. Thank you so much for joining me. This is the first time she will be joining my show. I hope you're having fun. I hope you're enjoying me. So, I am trying to round up by saying, how do we stop the blame game? What is it that we need to do to stop the blame game? Whether you're blaming yourself or you're blaming other people. Some of this game is not other people's fault. In fact, they do not have control over it. If someone does something that is wrong, this doesn't mean that the person himself is bad. At times, it's just happened. Maybe someone is holding your glass cup now and the thing just fell off. They did not intentionally throw the glass cup down. It is unintentional. Some of us, our children, they will break our plates and you will abuse the child as if that plate is a golden plate imported from the, I don't know, uttermost surface of the earth. I don't know. You will just keep ranting. Bidemi. Who is that? Round up, okay. When I just, yo, why did you come late? And you just be like, I'm not taking dinner now. You people should leave me. And you will just be like, hey, sorry. And you just be like, Bidemi, did you know how much I bought that plate? You are a bad child. In fact, when I married your father, you could not afford that plate. It was the money, the first salary that I collected, that I used. You would just go on and on and on and on and on. Like Veronica told me the day I misbehaved, she said, you were just going on and on and on and on and on. I felt so ashamed. Thank you, Mrs. Adeniji. Thank you. Mrs. Adeniji used to be our big sister then when we were growing up. Mrs. Adeniji, I've talked about how Reverend died when we were so young, and I've talked about what we went through when we were growing up. I know you are a living testifier to that. We actually went through hell. But in all, we give thanks to God. Here we are today. As of now, I cannot afford to buy a house for my mom on Banana Island, but I know very soon, by the grace of God, I will be able to do it, because she has actually done so well. She has actually done so well, amazingly well. So when you see me talking about my mom every now and then, it is not just because I want to hype her. It's because she's actually a very wonderful woman. She's actually a very wonderful woman. She had to make a lot of sacrifices because of us so that we can go to school. When I was in the private university, did I remember to tell you I was also doing my ACCA? ACCA is one of the most expensive professional exam in Nigeria as of today. Yes. It's one of the most, I am not saying it's the most expensive, but I'm saying it's one of the most expensive. She will sell her clothes. She will sell her jewelry. She will sell everything. She will say that university, you will go. You will go. Please help me thank my mom. Oh, Mrs. Morenike just did. She's a wonderful woman. She's a wonderful woman. I can say that over and over again. And so I'm saying that some of the things that happen, that other people do for us, it is not actually their fault. It is unintentional. The thing just happened. And so don't let us crucify them so much. You gave your child to go and buy Indomie for you and he lost the money. Some children will not be able to go home because they have lost 50 naira. Why are you like that? What is it? Some children, you will see them by the roadside, they will be crying. What happened? I lost the money my mom gave me to go and buy sugar. Go home now. My mommy will kill me. Because of 50 naira. It wasn't intentional. Kemi Pero, thank you for joining me. It wasn't intentional. Why are you so harsh? A child will not intentionally go and lost your money while he or she is trying to buy sugar for you. So some of the things that happen, or some of the things that happen to us personally, or that other people do for us, most of the time, they are not intentional. And even if they are intentional, what can you do about it? Will you keep them? Now, I say we used to blame. Let me just quickly go back to the first. Oh, Morenike has been with me for a while now. I'm taking your time. Oh, it's all these new people that are coming in. No, it's all these people that are coming in that will not allow me to go. I said, when you blame your parents for your misfortune, what will you do for them? Can you tell me? If my mommy had sent me to the university, I will not be a prostitute. Okay, she has not sent you to the university. What will you do for her? Are you going to kill her? Madam, come off it. It was my husband that did not check that beans I was cooking. He knew that I was taking care of the baby. He did not check the beans. He was the one that made the beans to get burnt. What will you do for him? Will you kill him? Because he did not check beans for you. It is God. It is God that did not do this. It is God that killed my mom when I was 2 years old. Thank you, Yetunde Ogujimi. Please, what will you do for God? In fact, you can even take your parents to court and say it's because they did not send you to school, which is, I don't think it's possible. No court will even pass that kind of judgment. But God, our God, if you believe in God, God that is in heaven, please, what are you going to do for God? I would have said, God, you people are disturbing me, please. I would have said, God, if not that you killed Reverend when I was 3.5 years old, by now I should have been a professor. What will I do for God? Will I take God to court? You cannot do anything. You can't. Now, it is because some people are harsh on themselves. That is why they end up killing themselves. You wonder, because of somebody bully you, the next thing, you go and drink sniper and you die. For what? For what? So, we are saying that regardless of what has happened, most times you cannot reverse it. You can't. Just let it go and move on. Let it go and move on. And I'm very sorry, I will be wrapping up very soon. And one of the ways you can avoid the blame game is to take responsibility. Take responsibility, learn from your mistake, accept your fault, and accept your fault that it is just like a way of improving yourself. If you make a mistake now, just learn from that mistake and move on. Just know that it is a way God wants you to learn. Most of the times, we focus on that mistake and we refuse to learn from it. That is not it. Learn from that mistake and move on. Learn from that mistake and move on. So it is a way for us to learn from our mistake. Try to make things better. Try to make this is a line, this is a world that is imperfect. This is an imperfect world. This is an imperfect world. Embrace this imperfection. Embrace this imperfection and stop blaming people and yourself. And it is on this note I'm going to bring this discussion to a close. Thank you so much for all joining me. Damilola Awosonya. Damilola Awosonya that will soon be Mrs. something very soon. She stayed all through with me on this program. That is awesome. Thank you. Alajumoke Ikule is just joining me. I'm so sorry. You have to watch a replay. I want to say thank you to everyone that joined me. Emmanuel Alao, my very, very, very good friend. He stayed all through, almost 1 hour. He was here with me on the program. Thank you. So let me quickly introduce myself before going offline. My name is Omobabinrin Adeola Oshideko. I am a writer, a published author, a public speaker, and specifically I am a personal development speaker. I am a relationship management coach, and I am also a training consultant. Oh, Yanu, you're on your own. You're on your own. I'm free. I'm rounding up. I want to say I'm finishing. I'm rounding up. So once again, thank you very much for joining me. I will see you all next week. And don't forget, I said next week I'm going to be treating the topic bitterness. Bitterness is the senior brother of anger. All of you are shouting anger. It's not good to be hungry. You have never seen bitterness. If you see bitterness, if you see somebody that is bitter, you know that anger is a small baby. Bitterness is the senior brother of anger. So next week we are going to be treating bitterness, the consequence of bitterness, the effect of bitterness, and how you can overcome bitterness. Thank you once again for joining me. Thank you, Mrs. Okoli. Thank you for Mrs. Babatunde. Thank you, Yetunde Ogunjimi. Thank you, thank you, thank you. God bless you all. I'll see you all next week by the grace of God. I still remain Omobabinrin Adeola Oshideko. Thank you.